First of all, how is Delhi treating you? How's it been going so far?
Delhi's treating us well. We are just waiting for our lunch.
This event was quite a bit of a turning point in our freedom movement. Like the way Jallianwala was a turning point.
I would take it from Sardar Udham's point of view,
Okay.
that he witnessed possibly in 1919 the Jallianwala Bagh, and that's where his actions happened in 1940.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Because he didn't want the world to forget what had happened 20 years back in Jallianwala.
I think there were certain moments in the film where genuinely to just relive those moments to the best of my capabilities would have an extremely numbing experience. To be honest, it's very exciting for me. It might be scary for the people around me.
Well, after doing a million Zoom interviews, we're back to doing in-person interviews. And who better to start doing that with than the team of Sardar Udham, who's here with me in the capital today, welcoming Vicky Kaushal, Shoojit Sircar and Ronnie sir. Welcome, welcome. First of all, how is Delhi treating you? How's it been going so far?
Delhi's treating us well. We are just waiting for our lunch.
Very honest.
I love Delhi, so
Yeah.
I grew up here, so
Yeah.
I mean, I feel quite at home. So
Lovely.
I just love Delhi.
Same. I was just kidding.
Of course. But you know, the trailer dropped a few days ago, and I've been seeing the response that's been coming so far, which is amazing, you know. Social media is full of so much negativity as well, but I don't see a single negative comment. There's so much love, you know, not just for the action and, you know, the acting, but also the cinematography or, you know, the dialogues and so many things. What do you have to say about the response that's been coming so far?
I think it's quite humbling, actually. You are right. I mean, you're actually right that that people were commenting on the look and feel, you know, style and the sets and that. So I think it's quite good that, you know, they have noted that the world that we were trying to achieve, and that's what we tried to, you know, tell through the trailer, tease the audience actually.
Yeah.
So I think it's possibly must have worked and gone the right message must have gone.
Definitely. Sir, Vicky, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think I was also monitoring the comments and all, and especially if you look at YouTube and all, where it's, I think, the most democratic platform. Anyone can write anything over there.
I think that's the best compliment that any social media platform would have given.
Yeah, so anything can be written on that.
Yeah.
And what you said is right. I mean, there's been a lot of positive comments over there, and that's something which can't be managed also. So that's why I was like really looking at that.
And no one writes. No one writes about cinematography or costume.
A lot of people are now
direction.
getting used to, like, they could notice those things. And the good thing is some people said, oh, even if there is VFX, it's looking really real.
Yeah.
So a lot of such comments. So basically people are appreciating all the aspects of filmmaking. It's not just ki, kya trailer hai. Like, people are
The nitty-gritties of
minutely
it.
seeing it. So that's a perfect win.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I want to talk to the both of you first. Why did you think that there was a need to bring this story? I mean, I personally feel that this is one of those incidents which is one of the most important, you know, historic events. But sadly, not a lot of people might be aware of it. Also, in today's generation, you know, they might not have read about it, or, you know, they might not know about it as much in detail as they should. So, is that perhaps one of the reasons why you thought that, you know, you should bring this story, or there is something else also?
I mean, there's no question of they might not know. They don't know. So, frankly speaking, there are many who just they haven't heard this name also. But yes, this event was quite a bit of a turning point in our freedom movement. Like the way Jallianwala was a turning point. I mean, it was from there the way things started in terms of our freedom movement. Whether it's later whether it's a Quit India movement or, you know what. So every incident or every event since then had some trigger point in our freedom movement. So I think people should know about it, you know, also. And I saw also is that I just wanted to put myself in that, you know, in those shoes and see how a freedom fighter would be. is it that a freedom fighter is always, the one who is a Superman? No, I mean, there is a heroism, but there is a common man is also a hero. So I think they were all common people with common ideas, with common emotions, with common, living the way, the life they want to live. So that's a very important thing that went through my mind.
Ronnie, so what about you?
I would take it from Sardar Udham's point of view.
Okay.
That he witnessed possibly in 1919 the Jallianwala Bagh, and that's where his actions happened in 1940.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Because he didn't want the world to forget what had happened 20 years back in Jallianwala. So what we are trying to do is what he actually wanted to do. So he wanted the world to never forget. What we are doing is, firstly, us Indians have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
So first we should not forget what had happened, and then the world should never forget that such an incident had happened. This was why he gave up his life.
Right.
So this is for us an important story, what he wanted to do back then.
Makes sense. Okay, Vicky, I want to speak to you. You said at the trailer launch, I believe, that you had sleepless nights while shooting just by thinking that this is literally a life that somebody lived. I mean, I'm just thinking about it and I get goosebumps. The entire struggle, the entire life, for those 21 years. Tell me a little about diving into the character, and how does this kind of a character affect you mentally?
I think there were certain moments in the film where genuinely to just relive those moments to the best of my capabilities would have an extremely numbing experience, a numbing reaction. There would be moments which I would feel that, okay, probably, I've never felt that before, or to that gravity. And that would make me really introspect and think that if this is in our attempt to relive that experience, we are feeling this much. What about this person who must have actually really gone through this? What kind of an effect would that person have? What kind of a mindset would that person have? How would he start looking at life? How would he start looking at the things around him? And that conversation that starts with yourself, to just explore that character, to just explore the mindset of that character, it's a important process also while you're filming, but also at the same time, it's something that sometimes you're not prepared for. You feel, okay, you know exactly what you have to do, you go in and you try and commit to that emotion, but then something that it puts you in a space which you were not prepared for, that makes you really like wonder and start thinking about it. And that's why I said that there would be times when, I would not end up sleeping because I would just constantly keep thinking. My mind would just constantly keep running as to what kind of a headspace would that person be in. In terms of the world of Udham Singh, it was very important for me to kind of internalize all these emotions and and because as a character, many a times Udham Singh would be a different person on the surface and a different person that he's carrying himself. Like for instance, when he's in London for survival, he would do all sorts of jobs and jugards, and as he would be a carpenter, he would be a driver, he would be a mill worker, a factory worker, and then he would work as a background artist in a British film. And it's also bizarre, but at the same time, he is trying to get a team together to rebuild the foundations of HSRA. He would also carry this pain and angst against Michael O'Dwyer, who was a representative of the evil of imperialism, the injustice that has happened in 1919 at Jallianwala Bagh. So it's all for a single person to carry all of that together would always be a matter of great fascination for me as an actor, and just to keep on exploring that was a process that was very enriching for me.
But isn't this dive scary for you? I mean, I think you also spoke about it, how often this literally goes to your subconscious and it would affect you in a way that you would not really expect it to be. Like how I think you recently also said somewhere that it would affect you to a point where you would start behaving in a certain way, and people around you would actually, notice a certain shift in your behavior, and, they'd be like, you're behaving a little unusual than the way you usually behave. So isn't it scary to think that it's literally a character like this will literally shake you to the core?
To be honest, it's very exciting for me. It might be scary for the people around me, but it is very exciting for me. I mean, that's where I find joy in that process of kind of molding, remolding myself into, different characters. I really find joy in that and a thrill in that. But definitely it sometimes throws off people around me, because that's when I realize that kuch alag hai. But then with time, they are also used to it. So.
Fair. Okay. To the both of you, I want to know, when you're making a film like this, you have to be like 100% sure about the facts and the details. You don't really have that creative liberty of, tweaking things a little bit as per your, convenience, and, कि इसमें एक action sequence डाल देते हैं, एक गाना डाल देते हैं. You cannot do all that, right? Tell me a little about working on a film like this versus making a fictional film when you have all those liberties. Does this make it a little easier because you already have the storyline, or does it make it more difficult because the research is so intense?
Yes, if the situation is like that, we have lots of facts and information then. But in the case of Sardar Udham Singh, there is not much facts available. So that gives us a little bit of a space or a field to play around in terms of understanding, because you are a lot of things your imagination is also carrying. So you're imagining, but I'm under the in the periphery of the fact. So you are actually connecting dots. But then when you are, as he said, that when you are doing and getting into the mind of the character of Sardar Udham, then I think it goes beyond fact. Then you are in a much more metaphysical way of thinking, like what, as an actor, what he's thinking, what I am thinking, what exactly we should emote, because we know what the fact is. Now, the emotion of emoting can be, we can really play around. That's what art is, Otherwise, it's not art. If it doesn't compel me from inside, from my core, what I should do, what I should think, what I should gauge from the things that happened. So I think to be an artist is to imagine, and it is based on fact, but there is an imagination.
Ronnie, sir, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think when you have making a film on this kind of a character, as he said, I mean, there is imagination, but there is a lot of responsibility also, that we cannot be frivolous. Would have had every chance to add in a song and dance, because technically speaking, he acted in a British film as a junior artist. But the thing is, that was not his headspace. So see, there is much more responsibility, especially with subjects like this. Whereas a fictional one, you can get away with anything, because it's fictional. But here, that's where the intention of making the filmmaking comes to the point. Why are we making this film? So that's where the responsibility increases tenfold.
Okay, a lot of Vicky's fans have been saying something on social media, like we said, ki, trailer pe aur har cheez pe bahut achhe comments aa rahe hain. I want you all to comment a little on it. Everybody is saying that this is Vicky's best performance till date. Do you think so?
That only people can say. We are in no position to say that. To every process, we try to be as honest as we can. Him as a director, me as an actor, him as a producer. But that is something that people can judge, and people should judge.
All right. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I'm quite satisfied with what Vicky has and what we have started, making with the Sardar Udham. So we are satisfied for sure. Best and all, I will tell you after the release.
Okay, I think we'll have to wait for 16th of October, because that's when the film releases. Yes. And yes, thank you so much for talking. Thank you so much for traveling all the way to Delhi to do this. This was so much fun. I'm glad that we're doing this in person and not on Zoom. So yes, that's amazing. And Sardar Udham releases on Amazon Prime Video from the 16th of October. So yes, all the very best. I'm pretty sure that's going to do really, really, really well. And you don't really need a lot of good wishes, but still, all the good wishes to all of you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.